how was your evening? So if you were here yesterday for the Doctor Janine show, I'm so glad to have you back and tuning in. I hope everybody's doing well. If you do have questions, this is your opportunity. Please say hello and where you're from. If you're new and here for the first time, make sure that you follow, hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you for all the likes and thanks for sharing today's Q&A as well. But also, if you've got questions, so there were a number of questions that came in through the show yesterday and I wasn't able to get to everyone, which I always feel a little bit bad. So I hope that I'm able to answer your questions today. A little rules of the road. Thank you for tuning in. Hello, Maria, nice to have you. Lasus cute. Hello, nice to see you. Thank you so much. So little rules of the road for the live Q&A here. I cannot prescribe, I cannot share, personal medical information, of course. I give, if you ask a general question, that's always best, and I give generalized answers, okay? So this is why it's so much fun, because there's a number of topics that, can we just check this for a second? There's a number of topics that, it's going blue screen, I'm just having my technical team check something here, there's a number of topics that we talked about yesterday live in the show, and we'll focus a little bit on that. So we talked about leptin resistance. We talked about as well making sure that we are optimizing our immune system by fixing our leptin resistance and how that is connected. And of course, we have a lot of slides and info that we can pull up if there's something that you missed or something that you want me to focus in as well. If you've got specific questions, we can pull up some of the information behind me on the screen as to what we covered yesterday in the show as well. We also talked about dirty fasting. Who loves their dirty fasting? Hello, housekeeping by Lisa. Good afternoon. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, dirty fasting. So what is that exactly? Well, dirty fasting, if you can see right here, is doing your fasting but allowing yourself to have some coffee. And there are little rules that I give myself anyway. I mean, anybody can do fasting however you wish, but the little rules that I have is, maybe a little bit of grass-fed cream in here. I don't want to be spiking my blood glucose levels, and that's the whole thing. And, when we talked last week, in last week's show about autophagy and achieving autophagy and that your body's cleanup mechanism while you're fasting, that's one of the reasons why people are fasting, of course. Some people do it for weight loss, but this is the great thing, is that you don't want to be spiking your blood glucose levels and keeping your insulin nice and stable throughout the day. Maybe getting into ketosis for a lot of people as well is a great way, especially in the wintertime. So it's something that I've talked about in previous episodes, talking about leptin resistance. Eating your food that is local to you and seasonally is important. What grows around you is what you're eating and in season. And that's why for a lot of people, if you live in a colder climate, I mean, we've had a fairly mild winter here so far in Canada, but in a colder climate, what you're doing is you're focusing in on more animal products often, or seafood, what is available at that time. Not a lot of fresh and very sweet fruits and vegetables, because they simply don't grow here in Canada in the wintertime. So nice to see you, and thank you for tuning in. And who is here for the first time? So please, thank you for sharing today's live. Agape4, thank you for sharing the live. Please hit that share button, everyone. It's so great to have you here, and welcome on in. I'm Dr. Janine. If you've got specific questions based on some of the things that we talked about yesterday, that would be great. Okay, a question Lisa is asking about almond milk. So yes, how do we make sure that the almond milk that we are ingesting is a good almond milk? So you're looking for two key ingredients: almonds, maybe some filtered water, and maybe the third ingredient would be sea salt. That's the type of almond milk that I like to drink. The problem with most almond milks and nut milks that are out there is that they're fortified. And if you really look at, the ingredient list on fortified plant-based milks, you will find some synthetic vitamins, which of course I do not like. And that is something that, usually they're petrochemicals. They are chemicals derived from the petrochemical industry, especially the B vitamins. A great example of vitamin B12, something that we talked about a couple weeks ago as well. Cyanocobalamin. So if you see that on your plant-based milk or your nut milk or your almond milk, it has cyanide in it. So, it's not something that I really believe that we should be ingesting. Nice to see you, Denise. You're here for the first time. Will everybody say hello to Denise? Thank you so much. The chosen are Blessed LLC. Good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. MC Truth Seeker. Hello. Nice to see you. David G. Hello. Good afternoon. Great to have you here. And Pat2M MP, so how to start our autophagy. So it's one of the things that we talked about. So achieving autophagy, you can do it in different ways. So fasting is one of the things that we talked about in the show, and going past the conventional 16-hour fast. So a lot of people do intermittent fasting wrong. That's another thing that we talked about in yesterday's show. So you want to achieve at least 17 hours of fasting to get into that autophagy. And if everybody doesn't know what autophagy is, it's your body's cleanup mechanism. There's mitophagy as well, which is your mitochondria. They sort of recycle themselves. They get rid of the old parts that they don't need, and then they recycle themselves and create more mitochondria. And what's the best way to get more mitochondria going is good water intake as well as sunlight exposure, something that I'm big on, getting out in the sun. We're finally seeing some sun here now in Canada. Hey, if you're in a sunny place, put a nice big sun in your comments. Would love to see that. Save Canada, thank you for the follow. Hiral Patel, nice to see you. Thank you for the follow as well. A lot of new people here today. Thank you for all that love coming in. I see all those hearts coming in. And let's see what else is coming up. Okay, so Diana, I see your question about histamine, and maybe we'll do actually, there's a lot of misinformation about histamine reactions and what's going on in getting bloated, and of course you're reacting, your immune system is reacting. This has to do with your gut microbiome. So often I talk about doing a microbiome cleanse, a parasite type of cleanse, candida type of cleanse to clean up that gut ecology. It's really, really, really important. Cabo are the herbs that I love. So cloves, artemisia, and of course, yes. So when we're talking about, cleaning up that microbiome, really important. So, and sorry, let me continue Cabo. So cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano. So that's the combo that I like to take. I usually do it 4 times a year, whether I've got gut issues or not. I think it's a great way to make sure that you're cleaning up that gut ecology, and that's something that I do. And I have helped, I don't know how many thousands, I want to say, people with that very issue with gut microbiome issues, the gas, the bloating, the chronic gut issues, and that histamine response is in there as well. Natural antihistamine, so that's another thing that I love. Quercetin, a combination of different herbal medicines, that's another thing that I'm a big proponent of taking to get your histamine reactions under control, and that has a lot to do, if you take that sort of hot wiring off of your immune system that is reacting to whatever, it could even be autoimmune, so like Graves' disease or Hashimoto's, your histamine response is just going cuckoo. You've got to quell that histamine response, and that's why I love that combination of quercetin. There's some other herbs as well. My team behind the scenes, you know what I'm talking about in terms of products, so if you want to fill in the blanks there, that would be great. In the comments, amazing, amazing for that antihistamine effect. All right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Ginger's Bag, hello. Nice to see you. You want me to repeat something, please? Please. Let me know specific. Black walnut. Okay, Cabo. I think, is that what you're looking for? So for the microbiome cleanse, the parasite cleansing, and if you've got candida issues, yeast issues, you crave carbs all the time, which can tie back to that leptin resistance that we talked about yesterday as well in the show. So Cabo, cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano. So that's the combo that is available, which is amazing. So yes, yes, yes. Yes, oregano is in there. Yes, absolutely. And okay, so questions about non-meat sources of iron. I actually do have some posts on iron. So again, I want everybody to know that you can now search. So no matter what, I know you're all on different platforms. Whatever platform you're on, you can go into the search bar, just put my name, Dr. Janine Bowring, and the subject that you want more information on. Most times you're going to find a video. And non-iron food, non-meat or animal foods, I love figs, I love dates, blackstrap molasses. Those would probably be my top 3 of mine for good iron source foods. Now the only caveat of those is that they're a little bit sweet. So when you take those in terms of your daily diet, because I'm all about balancing your blood glucose levels, that's going to have a difference as well. So usually right after, and that's what the research shows, of course, if you have your protein, your fiber first in your meal, then you're going to have that, whatever that sweet thing right after your meal to help to keep your blood glucose levels stable, if that makes sense. Tina, thank you for the follow. San as well for the follow. Amazing, amazing. Okay, Sanzera Sophia as well, thank you for the follow. It's great to have you all here. Hey, if you're here for the first time, we do this every Wednesday now. This is very new, the Q&A. So we have our show, live show Tuesday, so I want to show you that as well. So on Tuesdays is the Dr. Janine show live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So just make it, if you're new here for the first time, jot that down. Hopefully you'll see me, you're following, you're gonna see, or you're subscribed, you're gonna see that I'm coming live on Tuesdays. That's a weekly thing. Now Wednesdays, the day after, is kind of like the after show. We review some of what we went through yesterday, and if you still have questions, or if I wasn't able to answer your questions in the live Dr. Janine show, we've got the Wednesdays now at 1 p.m., and that's where we are right now, and you can ask those questions. So I hope that helps you to be able to get the information. You can always send an email as well if you've got sort of product questions and things to the team. And that email I think we can pull up as well, hello@vitatree.com. So very specific questions about protocols or things that I talk about, you can email them as well. And the team is always ready to help you and answer your questions. Ginger's bag, 1 fig a day, good? Yes, absolutely, depending on the size of the fig. My kind of thing is 2 per day. I have 2 figs per day, and it just, I don't know, it's just like the best thing for me. Helps in so many ways. It's a lot of fiber. It's like loaded with fiber, other nutrients. I get good quality, expensive ones. Not always, but when I can find good ones, and I always squeeze them in the store, the figs, to make sure that they're fresh. Because if they're already hard and dried out, I don't like that. So I like them really fresh. I squeeze them organic. Usually they come from Greece. But I mean, any figs, just look at the label on figs though, because sometimes they'll put sulfites in there as a preservative. That's not good. So you just want just the ingredients. It says dried figs. That's it. Okay? And you have to take them with a lot of water, because that is important to help to rehydrate and reconstitute, and that will help with the bowel movements and for the healthy poops as well. Shall I bring out the poop tray? Yes, so let's talk about healthy poops. And this is so important, because if you're not having healthy poops, it's one of the things that we talked about yesterday in terms of our leptin signaling and, you know, some side effects of, you know, doing dirty fasting in the wrong way. You can actually become constipated. So if you do have a constipation issue, your poops are looking like this, or the giant tower, what I call the elephant poop, which is stuck to the tray. Oh, man, I'm not going to get it off. Okay, but you can get you see what I'm getting at with the elephant poop? Yeah, another indication of severe constipation. We've got the little rabbit pellets in here as well. So that's something, again, if you're having these types of poops, or it even could be like the pencil-like poops, and you could have constipation. Well, here's the thing. This could be blocking up sort of your tube. Then the poop wants to come out, and now you've got a digestion issue, you've got the gas, the bloating, and your microbiome's messed up. So the poop is going to try to squeak by the constipated parts. I know it's gross, I'm sorry, I'm very visual, but that's how people learn. So that's often why we have the pencil poops, is that it's trying to squeak by the other, like the elephant poop and the other problems that we've got of that poop sitting in the digestive tract. I hope that helps. Yes. I don't mind talking about poop. Here we go. Nice to see you. Hello, Kim. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in today. And it's so great to have you. Thank you for all the gifts that come out through the show as well, and all the likes. I know you guys are double tapping your screen and pressing the like button and doing all of that. Fadauza, thank you for sharing today's live. Hey, everybody share. Hit that share button. It always helps to bring more people in and to continue the conversation. Okay, do I have questions? Everybody's so quiet today. Okay, Cabo, did we get it? Girlfriend Christmas Houston. I guess you're in Houston. Cabo, yes. Cloves, artemisia. You missed that one. Artemisia. Sweet Annie. B, black walnut, and O, oregano. That comes in a formula. So that's my team behind the scenes can fill you in there, so you can check it out. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And thank you, C.A. Tina. Is it Tina? Is that Canada or California? Thank you for sharing today's live. Fadauza, thank you for sharing as well. So great to have you here. And somebody's here from Montreal. Pinero, yes, thank you so much for tuning in. When is the best time to take magnesium bisglycinate? Love this question. Okay, so magnesium bisglycinate in the morning. And I know that's not what you've heard. Everybody says to take your magnesium closer to bedtime, it helps with sleep. No, magnesium bisglycinate in the morning, MM, that's how you always remember it, magnesium in the morning. Why? Because your magnesium helps with your metabolism of your carbs, your fats, and your proteins. So really important in terms of body composition, making sure your metabolism is optimized. Magnesium is needed in your body for like over 300 or 400 different chemical reactions. So it's not just about, muscle function, your skeletal muscles, your heart muscle as well. It helps to combat stress. The glycine in a magnesium bisglycinate, that's my favorite type of magnesium to take because it's got two components of that glycine. Glycine is very much depleted if you're eating wheat, if you're eating oats, if you're eating, non-organic food, which has this issue with the glyphosate. So glyphosate is the herbicide that is very problematic, wipes out our glycine. The glycine we need, it works like a neurotransmitter, helps with our DNA synthesis. So really important, and it works with your skin barrier function. So it's very, very anti-aging as well, the magnesium bisglycinate. So that's why it's my favorite type. Amongst other things, of course, but it's so great. And thank you. Somebody's here from Homesickness something of these from Hungary. Nice to see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I visited there a few years ago. Loved it. Beautiful country. Okay, so after getting sick with something with issues with the nervous system, yeah, this is where making sure that you're optimizing your diet, getting as much seafood as possible, because seafood has DHAs, and DHA is important for our electrical signaling in our nervous system. Another big one is vitamin B12, really important for the nerves as well, because it helps with them. I don't have my nerve demo here, but that's okay. The myelin, so there's something called myelin on the outside of our nerve cells, and that is that protective coating and that fatty layer on the outside of our nerves, and that's really protective to have your DHA. So from seafood or a high quality or combination of seafood and a high quality fish oil supplement that's high in that DHA to make sure that you have that proper signaling of and firing and communication between your nerve cells. So B12 and DHA, a high quality DHA fish oil supplement. And I take both personally because I think our brain and nervous system is one of the most important things that we have to optimize, of course, as we're aging. And yeah, keeping all our marbles. What do they say? Keep all your marbles in your head, which is so important. Yes. How do we lower cortisol? I love this question. Okay, something that we talked about yesterday when we talked about adrenal fatigue. So let's put up the slide on pregnenolone steal. Can we pull that up really quickly? I'm going to have a sip, and maybe, is it okay, guys, if I go to the board and point things out? Yeah, okay, I'm going to do that 1 second. And this is, yeah, by the way, dirty fasting. I've now switched to decaf coffee since the 1st of January. So who loves their coffee? Put a coffee cup in the comments. Okay, let's look at this pregnenolone steal. So with stress, we know our cortisol levels can have issues. Can everybody see me? Is this okay? We're good? Yes? Okay. So we know that cholesterol is broken down to pregnenolone. This is really important. Now what happens in times of stress is that this pregnenolone, instead of having this nice breakdown over to DHEA or testosterone or estrogen, and of course to progesterone, aldosterone, which is going to have effects on your blood pressure levels, what happens is that this pregnenolone in times of stress, and when you have leptin resistance, which is what we talked about in yesterday's show, what's happening is that there's a preferential making of more cortisol. This is, that stress response. This is the way that the body survives in times of stress, and of course when in feast and famine, that's where the leptin signaling gets all messed up, because with the leptin resistance, the brain is reading that we're low in leptin, we have to go and seek food, when in fact it's resistant. It can't see that there's all this leptin that we have happening here, and that's where we start to have the weight gain. So that's what ties back then. More fat, more leptin, more resistance. The brain is reading low leptin, makes you want to go and get food all the time. And this is where we have that leptin resistance and that pregnenolone steal. So because of this whole complex, what's happening is that we've got too much of that pregnenolone is going, and that's why it's called pregnenolone steal. Too much of that pregnenolone is going towards your cortisol, and of course cortisol now, you're going to blast out. Let's go over to Lucy really quickly. Can we do this? So what happens with our cortisol? Where does cortisol come from? Where do our catecholamines, epinephrine, norepinephrine come from? The adrenal glands. So coming back to the question, adrenal fatigue, adrenal exhaustion, you're tired all the time, you're trying to drink not decaf, caffeinated coffee, you're looking for the chocolate, like your adrenals are shot, and your hair starts to fall out, and you just don't feel well, and you're not motivated, and you might have anxiety issues as well. And your sleep is all off because your cortisol timing, so the biorhythm of your cortisol is that it's actually, and it peaks in the morning. That's what wakes you up, gets you out of the melatonin sleep phase. And this gets all messed up. So people can have, it's supposed to peak and then it's dropping off by mid-afternoon. Your cortisol could be spiking closer to bedtime because your circadian rhythms are all messed up. You've got the leptin resistance. Now you don't have proper melatonin secretion. Now your melatonin and your leptin are screwed up. And you've got this going over and over again with this adrenal exhaustion. So this is something that we definitely want to make sure that we're optimizing and fixing our leptin resistance, and that's why I've got a ton of content on that. So please check out leptin resistance. I think was it yesterday? Yeah, we just dropped a video on how to fix, so signs and symptoms of leptin resistance, but then some tips how to fix that leptin resistance. So please check out that video that we just dropped yesterday. It's a new video. Amazing. I see all these coffee lovers here. Yes, of course. Amazing, amazing. And so that is the adrenal. So getting back to how do you fix the adrenal fatigue? How do you fix the adrenal issue? Fix the leptin resistance first. So look at that video that dropped yesterday. It's a longer form video. You will love it and start using those tips, because I do have a number of people now that are followers that have learned about the leptin resistance. I've been talking about it for how many years now? Like 3 years? And it's a part of my next book, and it's because this is what I went through myself, having thyroid issues, having fatigue and tired, and I thought, oh yeah, you know, this was after having my 4th baby. I thought, oh, it's just, I'm tired. Yeah, I've got a busy life and 4 kids at home, and sometimes the 5th is home too, and yeah, like busy, busy, busy all the time. And yeah, it was something that I had to realize for myself, my own health, and I really started, because I wasn't, you know, always feeling as great as what I probably should have, had to investigate that. And then I learned this whole thing about circadian rhythms and natural sunlight exposure and fixing your leptin resistance. And yeah, I was able to investigate that for myself, fix it for myself. And that's why I educate other people, and especially women, about this, because when your hormones are off, you're not feeling great. You may even be medicated for your thyroid or whatever it is, or for your adrenals, or you're taking something natural to help to, you know, supplement or help your adrenal glands, but you're not getting at the root cause. And that's what I'm all about, getting at the root cause as to why you're not well in the first place. And that's how you get better from the inside out. Hello, hello. And hello, Superfilm Animato from Italy. Nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Thank you for, you know, hitting those hearts and double tapping your screen and doing all of those fun things that you love to do during the lives. And, you know, if you're a new subscriber, follower, thank you for tuning in. Now, remember, we do this now on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please tune in on Tuesdays to the live show. So the Doctor Janine show is on Tuesday, so make sure that you tune in there. Okay, so I know that there's some more questions that are coming in. Okay, so I wonder if this is about muscat and grape skin. So a question came in about dried grapes for heart and cholesterol issues. So yeah, so muscat and grape skin may be the same thing that we're talking about. Helps to balance blood glucose levels, and anything that's going to balance your blood sugar levels is helping your liver with your cholesterol. So there's a lot of misinformation about cholesterol, and if it's specifically black dry grapes, I haven't seen any evidence on that. Doesn't mean that it doesn't work. It just, I have not seen that, and something that I can definitely look up. But the thing with your cholesterol levels, and okay, I see some questions coming in about statins and things for cholesterol, is that you definitely want to optimize your liver function. And did I bring my liver? Oh, yes. No, I have my liver here. I know that the bad liver is here somewhere. We'll find that. So liver function and cholesterol, fatty liver definitely, and we'll show you that. Thank you so much. So here's not my bad liver, but a bad liver. With fatty liver, this is something that you definitely want to optimize and balance your cholesterol levels. So when, you know, a practitioner tells you, oh, your cholesterol's off the charts, well, it depends what is the breakdown and what is happening more specifically with your cholesterol. Is it the triglycerides, and how is that in balance with, you know, some of the other markers, your total cholesterol, your LDL, your HDL? Finding the balance is what it's all about. And no, I can't give specifics as to what any one person should do, yes or no, with what you've been prescribed. However, there are natural substances that help to balance cholesterol. Google sterones, garlic. So this is something that, yeah, I've, again, over the years, educated a lot of people about how to balance cholesterol levels, doing it naturally, not having to go on some of the more pharmaceutical types of protocols without the negative side effects. Because that's the thing with, some of these statin drugs, unfortunately, the side effect is a lot of muscle fatigue and pain. And that's because the whole mechanism with statins is to shut down your cholesterol formation in the liver, like shut it down. So what happens, let's go back to pregnenolone steel really quickly. What happens if we shut down cholesterol? So this is a really interesting question, and thank you for bringing it up because it's not something that we delved into yesterday during the live show. Sorry guys, am I too fast for you? You were good? Okay. That with cholesterol, hey, if you shut this down, what's happening to the downstream hormones? Just take a guess. Just take a guess. What happens to the downstream hormones? Let's look at testosterone as a great example for guys that are put on something that's going to shut down their cholesterol. What's going to happen to testosterone? Maybe not the best thing, right? Even estrogen, progesterone. You shut this down, other things are going to be affected. Hey, look at blood pressure. Is that going to be regulated? I mean, you've got to ask yourself some of these things, and that's why I like to educate people. Hey, just do your due diligence, learn more. When you, and that's what people share with me when I go live, and I'll say something that just sort of spikes some curiosity in my viewers, my followers, and you're like, oh yeah, I should think about that. I need to look more into that, or I need to ask more questions about that. And yes, so hashtag Ask Dr. Janine. So please use that hashtag, which I didn't mention earlier. Start using that hashtag because that will help to bring you up in the searches when my team behind the scenes is getting back to you, which is great, great, great. So thank you so much. And all the new people that are here today, thank you so much for tuning in. It's so great to have you here. And, we talk about, dirty fasting is another thing that I love to talk about. We talked about that yesterday, and that's allowing yourself to have some coffee or maybe black tea, not putting any sugar or anything in there that's going to spike your blood glucose levels, but that can really help to get you through the fast. And the longer hour fast or the day fasts, that's one of the things that I like to do. It just makes it all the more doable for me personally. But if you're not a coffee drinker, you don't have to do dirty fasting. Just do your, drink the water or anything that is not going to spike your blood glucose levels during that fast. But no diet sodas. That is something that I've talked about in posts as well. One of the things that I would never drink. My kids snuck it into the house the other day. They we were at a birthday party, and they thought they could sneak it into our house, okay? And my husband is like on top of the diet and what's going on in the house as well, right? So they snuck it in. I see it in the fridge. So I open up the fridge and I see this can of diet soda. I'm like, well, I know exactly where this came from, and I know who the two culprits are, my two youngest sons, one of them. And so I just took it. I said to my husband, I'm going to take this and clean the toilet with it. And that's exactly what I did. I opened the can, and put it around the toilet, let it swish around, and then I flushed the toilet because it's one of the best toilet bowl cleaners. And then when they came home and they're like, guess what Mommy found in the fridge? Yeah, well, it's not there anymore. I cleaned the toilet with your diet soda. And my son goes, serious? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I am totally serious. That's exactly what I did. I should have taken a video for the proof. But anyways, yes, I don't like diet sodas. Does liquid stevia break your fast, Shannon? Great question. No, it does not. It's not going to spike your blood glucose levels. So for me, that isn't allowable during the fasting time. Juicy J, thanks for the follow. Great to have you here. Josh is ingesting a lot of diet soda. Not something that I recommend. And here's why. I mean, we can all agree that, diet soda is probably, especially if it's got aspartame in it, what the research shows now is that aspartame actually upsets your microbiome. So it starts to feed some of the less healthy gut bugs that are in your gut. So of course we have a microbiome made up of, millions and millions, billions of microorganisms in the gut microbiome, and what the aspartame does, and other sugarless non-sugar sweeteners, the chemically based ones, they definitely upset that microflora, and they feed the bad ones, they feed the bad organisms and they don't allow the good ones, the probiotics, your good probiotics, to flourish. So that's scary stuff, because if you don't have a good microbiome, a good gut flora, then you've got digestive issues, then you've got immune issues, because remember, over 80% of our immunity comes from having that healthy gut, healthy microbiome, okay? So it's more important to choose, things that, that don't raise your blood glucose level. So here's a hack. Because I saw the question come in, I didn't see the name. If you're diabetic or your blood glucose levels, you're watching your blood sugar, or you're trying to lose weight, or you're doing keto, whatever, what can you drink? Okay, so here's some things. Squeeze some fresh lemon, if you like lemon or lime, into some sparkling water. That's one thing. You can, and I do purchase these stevia sort of drink mix things that are different flavors, pretty natural, and squeeze that into sparkling water. Then you can make different flavors of your own sort of soda pop that's sweet, or you can buy the stevia sodas that are sweet without, the guilt. And now they're making some non-alcoholic drinks that taste like alcoholic drinks, but they're stevia sweetened. There's no calories, there's no guilt. It's like one of my favorite new things. Amazing. So if you don't drink alcohol, or you're taking a break from alcohol, a great way to be able to do that. Okay, great. Will a bit of almond milk in your coffee break your fast? No. Lisa M, that's a great question as well. And it's something that a little bit, we're talking like maybe a teaspoon. I think that's totally fine. Just like I put a little bit of grass-fed cream into my coffee. When I'm doing my fast, I think that's fine. And a question about eye issues and astigmatism. So doing eye exercises. I have a number of videos. You can search it up. Again, for helping eye vision. And one of the most recent ones that I did, I talked about the Bates method. So everybody, let's do an eye exercise together. Everybody's at home. Put your phones down or whatever you're watching on for a second. You need both hands, okay? So you're going to warm up your hands. And then what you're doing, and you notice I have my blue light blocking glasses on, so that's really, really important whenever you're under artificial lights. Try to be wearing your blue light blocking glasses, okay? Cup your hands. After you've warmed them up, create a bit of energy in your hands. You're going to close your eyes and cup your hands over your eyes and try to see just plain black. And what that does is it relaxes your ciliary muscles, which is really important. And then when you come back, so come back and look again, most times you're going to see more clearly just from simply doing that, because that relaxation, most of the day we're actually straining our eyes. Everybody's on a device right now, right? We're straining our eyes. It's artificial light and it's blue light, which is very damaging to the back of the eye. And the muscles are always tense and contracted in our eyes. So we have to do and take time to relax those ciliary muscles. So just doing that a couple times a day or more. If you're on a screen all day, I'm on a screen a lot because of my research and everything that I do and writing my book and things, that I really find that my eyes get fatigued. So just doing that, take a couple and just sit there for about 2 minutes or so. If you can, even just 30 seconds, you'll notice when you come back, just because you were able to relax those muscles, everything is in better focus. It is amazing. Another thing, try to get natural sunlight in your eyes, especially first thing in the day. Strong UV, you got to be a little bit careful, but try not to wear sunglasses when you don't absolutely need sunglasses. You want more UV light to come into your eyes. If you wear contact lenses, most times it's going to block your UV and it's going to block some of the other spectrum as well, which is not good. You're blocking oxygenation to the eyes, but also contact lenses can limit your good signals from your environment in terms of the light cycle and mess up your circadian rhythms, your thyroid, and all these things. So take out your contacts whenever you can. If you don't absolutely need to wear them, wear your glasses. If you wear prescription glasses, wear your glasses instead. You'll see dramatic changes for your health, which is really good. Okay, elite to do, great question. What to eat while having a headache? Drink lots of fluids, tons and tons of fluids, really, really important. Okay, more questions. I can barely hear you. Yeah. Yes? How long have I personally been doing intermittent fasting? Love this question. I'm going to say it's probably at least 5, 6 years. 5, 6 years, but I stopped doing it for a period of time when I was fixing my leptin resistance. And when I do intermittent fasting, so once a week, and today's a Wednesday, so this is my intermittent fasting day, doing it the wrong way. Now that my leptin resistance is fixed it's still technically wrong. You're supposed to have a big breakfast for your circadian rhythms, for your leptin signaling, for your bowel movements, for everything. So this is the day that is like my bad day, because I have my hot yoga class, which I love, and I won't give it up. It's first thing in the morning. I can't do that. Has anybody ever made the mistake of doing a yoga, like an intense yoga class, Ashtanga or hot yoga class on a full, or after you've eaten a lot? Mistake. You can't do that. So this is my day that I do it wrong. But I'm totally honest, and I share that. But if you are going to fast, you always want to eat your big breakfast, fast your dinner, because that's so much better for your circadian rhythms and for balancing your hormones. And if you're trying to lose weight or for whatever reason, fast your dinner for intermittent fasting. That is my key. You've heard me talk about that in different videos and posts that I have as well. Okay, great. And I know that there is probably another question. Okay, Sandy is asking about insulin resistance. So we did talk about that yesterday as well, and how the insulin resistance is tied back to the adrenals, but also that pregnenolone steal and also the leptin resistance. And one thing that we talked about in last, I don't know if my team can find the osteocalcin slide. Let me explain that, if we can find that from last week's show. And they're gonna try to find something, because I want to show you something that's really interesting, that a lot of people don't realize some of these connections back, and it's not taught because people just don't know. They don't have the time, and doctors don't have the time to kind of really look at some of these mechanisms, how these things work. And that's what I do, is I take a lot of time and research, and I'm just that person. I need to figure things out in a way that makes sense from, the quantum way of looking at things, because everything is connected to everything else. And that's why when Ms. Umer, nice to see you. Thank you for tuning in today. It's great to have you here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And did we find it? Yeah, I want to talk about, okay, we're going to find it. Yeah, in the meantime, yes. Thyroid was checked, so somebody had their thyroid checked. Yes, thyroid is good. Low energy. So I just actually recorded this post yesterday. And just because you've had your thyroid evaluated, so you've had some blood work done on your thyroid, you think, hey, my energy is low, I'm not feeling great, even though your blood work comes back completely normal, and usually they'll only first test your TSH, there's other markers for your thyroid that should be checked, like your T3, T4, reverse T3, which is an indicator of the leptin resistance that we were talking about earlier. So this is important. Now, despite the fact that all of those markers come back and your thyroid, and you're still, because your body better than any doctor will, any practitioner. So always kind of use your intuition, and if you still think that your thyroid has an issue, supporting the actual gland with some of the cofactors that it needs is something that I really like to educate people about, because it's quite often now, depending on where you live, I don't know where you live, but everybody's streaming in from different parts of the world, but a lot of areas you're simply not getting enough iodine as one of those cofactors, tyrosine, an amino acid specifically for making your thyroid function. These are important cofactors, and there are iodine containing and thyroid supporting supplements. I take one every night at bedtime to help to support, because I used to be medicated for my own thyroid, taking the hormone, and I no longer need my script because I was able, number one, to fix the leptin signaling, your circadian rhythms, and leptin resistance, but also able to, support the thyroid gland with the cofactors that it needs. So that's something that you have to learn more maybe about that, and, making sure, especially if you're low energy, this is one of those things that you definitely want to make sure, and it could be adrenal fatigue as well, related back to the leptin resistance and that pregnenolone steal that we talked about a little bit earlier. Okay, yes. So let's go to the osteocalcin. So this is something that we talked about not yesterday, but in last week's show. So if you're here for the first time, hello, welcome. I'm Dr. Janine. We're doing a quick Q&A today, and we're talking about some of the things that we talked about yesterday in the Dr. Janine show. So please tune in on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for my show, and that's where we have a whole show, different topics every week about your health and how you can get healthier. Thank you for all the new people who are here today. It's great to have you here. Thank you for sharing, and of course, hitting that like button and all that love that comes in. So remember, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. I'm going to see you next week, okay? 11 a.m., set a date, and make sure that you tune in, even if it's just to say hello for a few moments and to see what we're talking about. And then you can always watch the show after the fact, because of course it lives on different platforms. But and I know that the question came up about the insulin resistance and balancing blood glucose levels. I want to tie it back to what we talked about in last week's show on Tuesday, And this is about osteocalcin, okay? So osteocalcin is regulated, and unfortunately, this gets shut down. So osteocalcin shut down when you've got the leptin resistance. Leptin is going to knock this out, okay? So now we've got a problem. If we don't have the proper osteocalcin secretion from our bones, what's happening is that we have less insulin synthesis. And our beta cells are not able to help with secreting that insulin. What happens if we don't have enough insulin? Where does our blood sugar go? It goes through the roof, okay? So that's just part of it. We tie this back to our fatty tissue. So if you got that extra body fat, now that increased insulin sensitivity is going to be decreased. And of course, that weight loss is not going to happen any longer. What happens when we put on more body fat? All my students here who have followed me for a while, what happens when we put on more body fat? Which hormone do we have that gets secreted more? Let's see it in the answers. Let's do a little quiz. When our body fat goes up, which hormone do we have more secretion of, which causes a different type of resistance, which usually happens before the insulin resistance? I'm waiting for it. Yes, Nadia, of course, we get the leptin. So the leptin is secreted by the fat cells. So more fat, more leptin. So imagine what's happening here. And this comes back to bone density as well, but I wanted to tie this in because of the insulin resistance question that came up. So you've got more fat. So the fat is going up. More fat is going to do what to the osteocalcin? Block the osteocalcin. So now you're also getting weaker bones, and it's affecting your testosterone levels, it's affecting your neurotransmitters in your brain, it's affecting your pancreas, it's affecting your muscle insulin sensitivity as well. So now you've got the insulin resistance. So this is one of the reasons, and it explains why I've always said that the leptin resistance usually comes before the insulin resistance, because of this, the osteocalcin. Okay, so I hope everybody's loving this information. I just think it's just fascinating. To me, I know not everybody's as nerdy and geeky as I am and loves this kind of sciencey stuff, but I think it's important, because anybody who's treating diabetes or, high blood glucose levels, do they ever say, okay, we'll fix your leptin resistance? No, never. You never hear that. And that's why, I've been able to help. Actually, one of our followers, I don't know if she's here today, Jerry, has lost, I think, close to over 60 pounds just following, and really dialing in on, fixing her diet, fixing her leptin resistance. Amazing testimonial from Jerry. I don't know if she's here, but yeah, amazing. So claps for Jerry. I don't think she's here. She's always here on the Tuesday shows, which is amazing. I love, because when I see your name a few times, like Nadia, I know is here right now, some of my regulars that are able to tune in, and I know that you set, like a lot of people have told, Jerry's here. Hello, Jerry. So yes, we will be talking about Jerry now and again, and Jerry gave us permission to do that because, yeah, fantastic. I mean, and we have to give Jerry, a round of applause, because you really did take it upon yourself to not only learn the information, of what we share here, and you've been with us for a while, but you did something about it. And that, at the end of the day, that's why I share, and I do so much research, and I write my books, and I'm out on social media, and I record tirelessly with our entire team, and we edit all these videos, and we put out that content for you, because I'm hoping, and that's my prayer for all of you that are watching, that there's just one little seed of something that you learn that I teach, or that makes you go and learn from somewhere else. It's just those little baby steps, those stepping stones, so that you can get better and healthier. We had another person, I can't remember her name now, a couple weeks ago, who started drinking the Soleil water, and her migraines have been gone for 6 months. I mean, no more migraines, 6 months, no medication. She just made one simple change, added that Soleil water, into her drinking water every day. That I have that recipe as well, that was able to get rid of her migraine headaches. I mean, pretty amazing stuff. And that is music to my ears whenever I hear your testimonials, your reviews. Oh yes, okay, awesome. My team is so great, you're on the ball. Okay, so here's the Soleil water. If you're wondering what that is, basically it's adding salt, so a sea salt that I love, that's loaded. I like the one from Utah, loaded with minerals. You're gonna make that solution, 2 teaspoons of that sea salt into a big mason jar. I'm gonna just, you don't have to follow me, I'm just gonna grab, as you're looking at that recipe, I'm just gonna grab my Soleil water over here so that you can see it real quick, what it looks like, because I want to show you the salts on the bottom of the See how it sort of settles? You see that salt, it sort of settles on the bottom. So you're going to sort of swish that around. You make it in a mason jar, as you can see. So in a liter of, the best quality water, this is reverse osmosis, but the best quality water that you can find, you're going to mix that up, and then you can use just a little bit of this in your drinking water when you're drinking. Amazing for your electrolytes. And so for one of our viewers, got rid of migraine headaches, amazing, amazing. So Soleil water. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Today I'm Dr. Janine. And a shout out to Handel. So Handel, hello, hello. Shout out from Dr. Janine here. Nice to see you here. Thank you so much for tuning in. And questions about, yes. So questions about liver gallbladder health is something that we talked about, I think 2 weeks ago in the show. So your gallbladder, whether it's the stones, maybe you've had your gallbladder removed, often that leads to, after gallbladder removal, is some lighter poop. So if you see my poop tray here, those lighter colored poops, which can be problematic, of course, and they're floating, and that's because you're not emulsifying your fats properly in the diet, and the gallbladder can't concentrate properly, or if there's some blockage there, there's a problem. So how do we take it? One of the best things that actually has some evidence behind it is a high quality turmeric with curcumin. So curcumin at a high percentile of those curcuminoids, you're looking for a 95 percentile. With quercetin, I like that combination, not the black pepper. I like the quercetin combination with that. Really effective for, of course, liver gallbladder issues. So that's a great question. Now, I don't know, do we have a couple minutes? I'm going to take 2 minutes because if you missed yesterday, we did a cheek boosting exercise. So how many people have been trying that? Put a 1 in the comments if you've been trying the cheek boosting exercise that we did yesterday. Yes? Did anybody? Yes. Julie, you've tried it. Are you loving it? Are your cheeks sore? Okay, we're gonna do that really quickly. It was in yesterday's show, but then if you want, the details. DieFig35, you've been trying it. BZ, Nadia, you've been trying it. Kavan, yes. Awesome. Jerry, yes. Isn't it? And wow, I know, it's amazing. And if you do this over the next few weeks, you're gonna see that your cheeks actually get more lifted. So you're actually building this muscle up here, which as you age, you can see this sort of becoming sallow and drooping down. So by doing this exercise, it helps to lift this area, helps to define the jawline. And if you do have nasolabial folds, so this line that happens here as you age, as everything starts sinking in, you can see that fold can get worse. You want it by doing this and actually strengthening. Do we have the muscles, the zygomaticus muscle? I'm making my team sweat today. I'm asking for things that they didn't think I was going to ask for. Yeah, yes, okay. See the zygomaticus minor and major. This is what we talked about yesterday in the show. These muscles you want to pull. You want these to be contracting up this way. And if you do have a nasolabial fold here, it helps to smooth it out because you're actually contracting this muscle up, if that makes sense. Okay, so let's do the exercise. Everybody ready? We did a lot of exercises, eye exercises today, and now we're going to do the face exercise. Okay, so ideally, now I didn't say this yesterday in the live show, but you don't always have to do the mewing. So the mewing is putting your tongue to the roof of your mouth. You don't always have to do that. It's a bit awkward in this exercise, but if you can, all the better. You're going to just roll your lips around your teeth, both top and bottom, open your mouth, and then you're going to hold, so it's harder with my glasses on, you're going to sort of hold your skin nice and taut, and then you're going to contract your cheek muscles, okay? So it kind of looks like this. I'm going to close my eyes and do it. If that makes sense, and you will really feel it. So you're going to do 10 contractions, okay? So try that, everybody. Try that right now. Amazing, amazing. And yes, so Coel CA, exactly it. And it is incredible for a lot of women, because a lot of women do get injections and fillers in their cheeks to lift this area. You won't need them. I'm telling you, just like you can work your bicep muscle, your quadricep muscles, if you stick with it, you will see some muscle definition in all your muscles. The same for your cheekbones. It really does help to lift, and you will notice those differences. That made you yawn. Okay, do it again. Okay, one more time. If you have TMJ, just take it easy. You don't have to do like hard contractions here. It's all about that mind-muscle connection as well. So it's all about the intention here, but you do need to contract the muscle. Okay, so you're holding nice and taut. You're gonna roll your lips around your teeth. And then you're just contracting this muscle, okay? So just focus in on contracting that. I do it in the video if you search up yesterday's show. So just search up yesterday's show and you will be able to, okay, so is people having volume problems? Are we good? Okay, yes. Nadia, you don't see it moving, it will. That means the muscle is weak. Okay, good. Okay, sorry about my audio there. Yeah, so yeah, if you don't see anything moving, don't worry about it. You are still contracting that muscle. The stronger Mary, yes, there you go. The stronger your muscles become, the more you actually will see that contraction happening. So do it in the mirror. You're gonna, because when you first start, you're like, oh, I don't see too much happening. You will feel it over time. 10 repetitions, you're gonna rest for maybe 5-10 seconds and then do another 10 repetitions. And like I was saying, we were talking about it yesterday, I was laughing because sometimes I used to do this at a red stop sign. While I don't have the most tinted, I could have better tint on my windows in my car because people kind of look over and like, just if you don't know what's happening, you might think what is going on over there. So, which is amazing. Okay, so thank you so much, everyone. It was so great to have you all here today. Please make sure that you tune in next week at, of course, Tuesday for the Dr. Janine show, which is going to be live at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then next Wednesday, again, we will be here or we won't be here? We will be here next Wednesday at 1 p.m. I had to think about that for a second. At 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a quick Q&A, okay? It's great to see you all. Thank you for all my new followers. Thank you for tuning in. Check out my content in between, of course, our lives. And hey, have a great day. Go and inspire someone to be healthy by being healthy yourself. We'll see you next time.